Start at 6:30. Okay. Call meeting to order. Nikki, can you do a roll call for us, please?
Travis Kramer,
Here.
Scott McLean,
Here.
Gordon McGee,
Here.
Jason Weasey.
Here.
Paul Kraus.
Here. The Open Meetings Act is posted on the wall. The consent agenda. I just want to make sure we didn't talk about Boyer dump truck. I don't know if we talked about the steering gear repair at our last meeting, John. So we had a steering gear leak after we got it here. They offered to pay for half of it. So they deducted half of the repairs that we had from that original price of dump truck purchase. And then we've got I think it's $1,200 as our share.
Just, that repair itself is like
1,037.
So our share is half.
We had to get a couple front shocks for
Yeah.
it to put them on, so.
So that's why those numbers don't match. I just wanted to make sure everybody was okay with that. Obviously, we didn't buy it with a warranty, so I guess at least we're glad they offered to pay for something, so. I don't see anything else in there. Nikki and I were talking about the lighting. It sounds like we'll actually get some labor back from our insurance company too on the lighting, so it might cover most of our deductible, it sounds like. That'll be nice. Other than that, I didn't see anything else unless somebody wanted to pull something out separately.
So, a quick question, the cemetery module is not in that letter E, right? G-Works annual license and subscription.
We
Okay.
never
Okay,
purchased it.
okay, gotcha. I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as published.
I'll second that.
I think we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Scott McLean.
Aye.
Gordon McGee.
Aye.
Jason Weasey.
Aye.
Travis Kramer,
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item 5, approval of the minutes from November 15th, 2021 regular board meeting.
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda from the November 15th meeting as presented.
Minutes.
Yeah, the
I'm
minutes.
sorry, the meeting minutes.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes as presented from the November 15th, 2021 regular board meeting. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Gordon McGee.
Aye.
Jason
Aye.
Weasey. Travis Kramer,
Aye.
Scott McLean,
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item 6, unfinished business, discussion of possible approval of rescinding vote to purchase cemetery module from G-Works.
So we mentioned this last month that after Scott and Nikki and I viewed the demo and thinking just about how things are currently backed up and what we could potentially do ourselves, we would think it's best to rescind that vote and not make that purchase of the cemetery module. I didn't mean to speak for you.
No, that's what we kind of agreed on.
So to rescind the vote, Gordon would have to make the motion to rescind and Jason would need to.
So I'll make a motion to rescind the vote from the October meeting of the purchase of the cemetery module from G-Works.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second to rescind the vote to purchase the cemetery module from G-Works. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Jason Weasey.
Aye.
Travis Kramer,
Aye.
Scott McLean,
Aye.
Gordon McGee,
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item D, discussion and possible approval of amount to reimburse downtown business owners for sidewalk repair and a time frame for repairs to be made.
We had a conference call with Tim about that and he's working on an ordinance for us. I just wanted to keep it on the agenda so we don't
Okay,
lose it.
all right, so we'll come back to that next month. Obviously, we're not gonna be in a hurry in the next couple months anyway, so. Item C, discussion and possible approval of resolution 12202021B, amending the employee benefit section of the employee handbook regarding paid days off and holidays.
New copy, and it has the floating holidays removed and then Juneteenth wasn't on there. And it has the.
That was just 2 pages?
Three.
Oh, holiday. And that's all federal holidays on that list. Do we need to just call it all federal holidays? I think I would rather just do that. I guess it doesn't matter. That's our list currently.
It says federal holidays
Yeah.
there on the front page.
I just did it that way because if you go to the federal.gov page, they have them all listed out.
So I think that was on the holidays. That was the only objections that I heard is that nobody wants to leave out any of the federal holidays and be called anything for it. So paid time off, I think what we're having troubles with is the max and how many what we're starting at. So let's have a discussion about where these numbers are at and what numbers people would be comfortable with. At 1 year, 15 days, let's just start there. Does everybody think that 15 days is an appropriate number after 1 year?
Up to 1 year.
Up to 1 year. So after 30 days of employment. So what I don't understand is on this. Okay, so you shall accrue on the first day of each month PTO on a month-by-month basis. So after 30 days, if you got, it doesn't say how much you accrue in there, does it?
No, because it'll be different for everybody based on how long they've been here.
Depending on when they're hired.
Yeah,
So like, let's say that you're hired on December 30th. We're gonna give them all 15 days until the 31st, or are we not doing calendar year? We're doing their hire year.
So do their
Oh,
hiring.
wait, didn't
We did.
you hire-
Because at one time we did talk about doing it the other way.
Yeah, I
But everybody
think-
resets at January or whatever, so that's why I didn't know.
Yeah, I think work anniversary is the way. the best way to do it.
So what I wanna understand, I don't understand from this. What I see in front of me is that 30 days of employment. It says you start to accrue time, but yet you also get 15 days per year.
You start earning that 15 days
Okay,
after 30 days.
so where does it spell out how that works?
It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be different for all of these, so you can't.
But it shouldn't be different. It should be per pay period or per month.
Well, if you have 20 days per year, then your accrual is gonna be different.
Yeah, it's another column that says how many days you would accrue per pay period by row. Right?
So it's gonna be the 15 days and then split up by,
Divided by 12,
26 weeks.
divided by 12 or whatever
Right.
months.
well, there's 26 day
24
periods,
or
so
26.
it'll be divided by 26 and
Okay,
So you occur at 0.57 per pay period.
and we're talking days.
Yeah.
So every 2 weeks you get 0.57 days off. Okay.
Is that,
Is that gonna be a nightmare to track?
no, the software that tracks it. You just put in the rules and it'll calculate.
Do we use Forte? What do we use? For that?
Simple City.
Oh, Simple City.
Is that how other villages, communities handle? I mean, do they all use an accrual process for paid time off? Just know when I've hired people, that seems to be one of the things that gets negotiated. It's, you know, hey, I'm going to start the 1st of November, but we're taking a family vacation over the Christmas holiday. And so I'm not going to accrue it a half day per pay period. I need
Right.
a week and a half.
It's so the part after that is like the buyback and all that stuff is because you can like use ahead for that 1 year. You just can't use like next year's vacation. Like if you
Okay.
get to October and you've used all of your vacation for that year, you can't borrow from the next year. And if you leave before you do all the vacation you've taken,
You
then
take
that
it out of
gets
their check.
deducted from you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I didn't get that far into it. Thank you.
They have to work 30 days before they.
Hmm.
So if they work for 30 days, they will have really earned 1 day off.
Right, and if they ended up taking vacation during that, then they have a paycheck to deduct,
Yeah, that makes sense.
so.
This one I have isn't the one that we're gonna have to sign. Can I write on? Well, okay. What I want to do is make a chart comparing our old to them.
I think that's what she has on here, isn't it?
Yeah.
The old was 20 days, the new at 40 days.
So I was,
The old was 25.
that's in my mind, I was.
No, that's,
No, that's just.
no, that's what they can, that's what they.
Yeah, I
can.
want to compare the old one and then throw in,
I got what
throw
you're
in
saying.
sick days so that we have.
Against what you're going to. be earning. So if you leave before you've earned that much vacation, then they get deducted.
It's
I
fine.
know, it's not.
So our old policy is 1 to 2 years, you get 5 days. After a year is when you get vacation days on our old policy, right? Not until 12 months.
That one.
At 1 year to 2 years, you get 5 days, plus you get 5 days sick. You accrue 5 days sick every year. And that's what you've got there, you know.
Where are you?
Sick plus your personal days
That's what she,
is what we have now.
Piecing together.
oh,
So 19 includes holidays
some
too.
examples.
Yes, that's
Okay.
everything. That's all in holidays.
Okay.
Proposed CSG mutual Belmont would help state of.
Oh, gotcha.
Just trying to get some.
I'd give Nick, my feedback would be, I like the fact that we're giving new employees more time when they start, because I think if we, as we look to maybe hire another employee, that would be something that would be attractive to them. I think in general, the out years are pretty rich as far as the total number of days that
All right, now I got a shot.
give a person.
Let's scroll down.
So for example, if you're at 10 years and beyond, that's 42 days off per year compared to 29 now, not including the rollover of sick time. That seems
Well, there
a
is no,
lot.
there's no sick time anymore.
No, I was comparing to our current policy where you can roll over sick time.
That's the other thing. They're gonna lose 10 hours of sick time rollover. If you don't have sick time, you can accrue 15 hours a year now, right? 15
15 days.
days, I mean.
Yeah, but you can roll over 40 days.
It's gonna sound horrible, but do we provide long-term disability? I don't remember if we do. We do. Do we have short-term or long-term? We have the,
Disability.
okay. So what, at what point does that kick in? 60, 45, 35?
Like at Acres, we got 200s, our limits, which would be 20, 15 where I'm at now.
Yeah,
Short-term is 20 years there.
It seems like usually,
Oh, we do. Okay. I couldn't remember what that you guys pay for or that we pay.
Rural too.
Let's say, pays. Okay.
it seems like the difference is usually 1 week and then it's a month for short and long term, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what mine is.
So like at the schools, many times they will allow teachers to accrue up to when the long term kicks in. So like if their long term disability kicks in at 45, they typically will let people only max out to 45. So that way they have enough to get to that point if they haven't called in sick, obviously.
so part of the reason for those days being, I know it seems really high and whatever, but part of that is to prevent burnout. Part of it is probably they're not gonna take that much time off and then they get paid extra. I mean, it's motivation to keep people here after that 10 years.
So when we buy back vacation, unused vacation time, that's costing us above and beyond what we
Yeah.
normally budget.
So that's what you're weighing is that money worth the employee retention? I mean, when you've had someone here that long, it gets more costly to lose them and replace them.
And what's the maximum buyback of vacation days? Is it all of them or is it only a week? I've been looking at so many of these.
120 hours. 20 hours of vacation time that can be rolled over. All full-time employees shall have the option of exercising a buyback of 1 week of unused vacation time. That sounds like it's while they're still employed. I don't know if there's a different policy when outreach. Okay, so Nikki, if an employee terminates employment, then we buy back everything that's been accrued. That's what it looks like.
You legally have to do
I
that.
think that's.
Yeah, what's been accrued.
That I've learned in my
But
new job.
I mean, that's why you do the accrual, so that if they haven't
Sorry.
earned all of those days of
Mhm.
vacation,
Pick out
you're
the
not.
floating.
Right, and if they
Don't owe
leave,
it to them.
One,
and they may potentially owe you if they have. Yeah.
Right,
the Juneteenth,
yeah, if someone takes 2 months
so
off.
we're just in it by
it's-
one,
Mhm.
there's no floating.
No floating, okay. So that would be,
Is that listed somewhere in here? The buyback?
Yeah, it's in the front account.
11 holidays.
Yeah. Is that on another sheet? Thank you.
We're at-
Second.
I just
That's on the same, what number is it? I'm sorry. Or what letter or section?
Section 4603.
Right.
We're adding,
603,
we're
okay.
going from 7 to 11, yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
Two extra.
we have two floating today.
and those are gonna be gone.
So we're going, actually. going
The way this is
from 9 to-
written.
We're going.
Okay, to 9.
I feel like, my personal opinion is if we go with the federal holidays, we don't need to have a floating one because,
No,
or floating 2 days.
yeah, we won't do that.
And the only thing that's gonna do to you guys is if you want New Year's Eve off, you're gonna have to take vacation time for that as
Yeah,
well.
it's totally. That's why I redid this without the floating money.
Well, here's where I think most people are having problems, and I'm just gonna say it out loud, what I think most people are stuck on. I think 15 days at a year is a lot. And I don't know where everybody's at on 30 days at more than 10. I don't know if that's excessive, you know, with the federal holidays, that comes up to 41 days total. So I think those are the things, I like the steps. I like having another step in there. I think it gives people more incentive to say, hey, I got something coming next year. I like that. If these numbers aren't what people want to see, then I say, let's discuss what these numbers should be.
I'd like to know what other communities are offering. It's hard for me to just somewhat arbitrarily sit here and recommend or approve or not. What other communities are offering against for these.
Did you look at Fremont's at all?
I did. They go by hours and
Of course, they do.
accrual.
No one's gonna do it.
So
the
they
same.
go 5 years of service or less. They go five or more. And they add hours per pay period. So they go from 80 hours per year or 5 or less,
So that's 10 days.
10 days. At 5 years, they go 120 hours. Then they go to 140 at 10 years, 160 at 14 years, and 200 hours per year at 25 years of continuance. At that point, you gotta figure they're gonna retire in a week anyway.
So that's 25 days. Whatever the last one that you said.
Do they have sick time or anything listed?
So sick time. Sick leave is insane. Employees are permitted to accrue sick leave up to 1,200 hours. And they will earn 3.7 hours of sick leave for each full pay period. So compare that to their hours, that's as much as their vacation. If not more.
So they still have two separate categories.
They do.
Gotcha.
They only have 7 paid holidays. They don't do federal holidays, but they do have more sick leave.
They don't have any floating, do they?
I didn't see any floating under the. Blair, I couldn't find anything on Blair's. Good luck.
Okay.
Glassdoor kept pulling up, but it won't show any results.
Wouldn't it have to be in their ordinance?
I couldn't even find their ordinances. I mean, I couldn't search for a wage ordinance or anything.
Gotcha.
I tried to find Blair's stuff too, and
They must have secret ordinances. They don't want anybody
Are
to.
they on the same company that we have? Because they were, no, they're not on Unicode.
I don't see any, oh, wait a minute. After employees have successfully completed their probationary period, they will receive floating holiday leave. This must be used by the end of the business day on December 31st. City utility, 16 hours, 2 days of floating holiday leave. Shift working fire department is not applicable, but they have more. Fremont has 2 floating days.
That makes more sense. That gets them up to 9 days. Which is, I mean, kind of the standard from what I
Yeah.
can tell. You gotta have at least 9 holidays.
Okay, how many pay periods did you say? It's 52,
26.
26 pay periods. I'm trying to figure out what their sick leave works out to.
Malcolm Minden, they'd be comparable to us, wouldn't they?
We don't know
Say
if
if
they
they
get-
get paid weekly or bi-weekly or monthly.
It doesn't say here. All accrual vacation hours calculated on a bi-weekly basis.
Where am I looking at it?
So that would mean every 2 weeks. So we
It
should be
doesn't
able
look
to
like
figure
it, though.
26 times
It doesn't say.
the accrual per.
All salaries shall be set by ordinance of the governing body. That's all they put in there. They don't have the actual stuff in the ordinance.
So if I'm doing my math right, it comes out to just over 12 sick days per year. Does that sound reasonable? At 3.7 hours
5
per
years is-
pay period.
Does West Point have their stuff online?
I'm asking my brother what their policy is right now. He works for the city.
Mhm.
They might have it online, I don't know.
Mayor of Minden, Nebraska makes $12. It says the appointed officers is on file.
Really?
We're the only ones putting it in our actual ordinance.
But there again, are you gonna lose employees to West Point or someplace like that? I mean,
I don't know.
that's the,
I think we'd be more equivalent to, yeah,
to Blair or.
to Blair or Fremont or Elkhorn or, yeah. And city of Elkhorn would be Omaha, so I don't know if we're really, I don't know, who knows? I guess it's everybody else's. And be found at the office. Filed at the clerks. What days are you thinking, Paul? There's, you know, like 20, 25, 30, what days are you thinking?
I don't know. 15 just seems like a lot.
Oh, for year one?
For the year one.
The rest of them you're
Like
good
you said,
on?
you know, if somebody comes in and negotiates it, but do you feel like if we hired somebody off the street, John? It,
Here's
Go ahead.
what- Jim, my brother-in-law Jim's been working for the city of West Point for 10 years, 12 years. He gets 3 weeks of PTO and 12 sick days right now. So that's a gauge, I guess.
Mhm.
7 days.
so.
Was that- How many years was he there? Did you say, John?
Comes up with that
He's been there about
41
10,
days,
11 years.
That's right, where
10, 11? Okay.
that's
And he was at what again? Say that again?
3 weeks of
20 days at
PTO
14
and
years.
12 sick days
that adds up to 41 days.
per year.
And you're saying 3 weeks and 12 days?
That's what he.
plus the holidays, they probably get
And
7.
they get all, I think, I'm pretty sure they get, I think they get all the federal.
Is yours straight PTO at work? Or is it separated? between
It's separated.
sick? Yeah.
Yeah, it's all separate.
Is yours separated? Or is it straight all PTO? That's yours is unlimited.
Yeah. Nick, are you looking?
Where are you guys?
Are you looking at the?
We got a pretty fair plan, I think, at work, and
Is it sick?
it's all together, but
City employees.
like I've been there damn near
So,
15 years and I'm 200
5 years
hours.
is
and That's
10
all
days,
you can
right?
accrue.
That's the most you can ever get is $200.
Less than 5.
Is 10.
80 hours. So
Did I do that wrong?
that's 10 days. Yep. So 10 days.
That's right, 10 days,
Yep,
okay.
yep.
So yeah, when I just kept
15
dividing down the
days.
road, it went to 15,
Yep.
then 17,
Yep,
then 20. And I figured out 14-year mark is a good comparison to what we're doing. They're at 41 days total. And if you go to 25 years and you add 5 days, it'd be at 46 days total.
25 years of service.
So I guess I don't think I have a problem with the high end. The 30 days plus the days at 10 years. If we've got an employee that's been here 10 years, I want to keep them. John, do you think 15 days after a year
I mean, that's.
in that first year?
I think I waited a year to do. So, and then after a year, we got one, and that's what it is. But I think, like Nikki said, though, and.
We're trying to
it's nice
attract
get somebody to
people
attract
and keep
people.
them.
It would be nice to have some vacation right away that first year. It's hard to hire people and say, you don't have a day off for a year,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do. Like that means a year with no family vacations
Yeah.
and no.
Well, and you make them. have to
It's
take those
incentive to
days.
stick
So,
around.
like, let's say we're gonna hire them November 1st. Well, I have a vacation that I'd already planned before you guys hired me that I'm gonna take on November 15th. Well, you're gonna have to take you're gonna have to take those days. I'm sorry. Because that's what they did to me. I had a trip planned before I started my new job
Mhm.
and they made me take holiday pay right away. Or not holiday pay, whatever, vacation pay. Right
Take it off of your vacation that you haven't earned yet.
And then,
that I hadn't earned yet.
Okay.
and then if you quit for some reason, then you have to pay that.
They would pay it back. Yep. Yep. And I would have, yep.
So I think.
So I'm okay on the 15. I thought you guys were hung up on the 30 days was too much. I didn't know.
So when you compare Fremont's, they have 5 tiers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Their 5th tier is 25 years or more of service. So if you go to their 4th tier, at 14 years, they have 20.2 days, 12 sick, 9 holiday. And so that adds up to 41 days. That's exactly what we're talking about here on this list.
Mhm.
At 14
That's at
years.
14 years of service in Fremont. Now, if you go to 25 years in Fremont, then you add 5 days.
When has Arlington ever had people stay longer than 10 years? I don't know. How long was Gordy was surviving for long?
Right now.
Let's try and keep.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
Let's
Other
try
than
and
you.
keep.
No, that's what I'm saying. Well, no, that's what I'm saying then. No, I'm sorry, maybe that sounded bad, but what I meant was,
I know.
I want to keep the people after 10 years.
That's
I
what
don't
we're
think
trying to
we've, yeah,
fix.
that's, yeah.
So what you're saying
exactly.
is, let's fix this problem that we've been having.
Yeah, to me, I don't see a problem with what it is. I'm okay with it. Because when it's combined, I think that's, in this day and age of where there's viruses that we shut things down for and we don't have anything extra special,
How many years did you say you're?
they could be out for
brother-in-law was
14,
at?
15 days that first
He
week.
started about the same time I did, so maybe a year before me, so
So he's at 34 days.
he's at 20.
He was at 3 weeks and 12 sick days.
Is
27,
that 26?
15
27,
plus the 7 holidays.
plus I think they get every
You said 15 vacation, 12 sick,
15 vacation, 12.
and 7,
And the paid holiday. I think they. do
let's
all-
say 7 holidays.
I didn't ask about the holidays, so.
I come up with 34 there. Am I wrong? 33?
34.
Is that- Yeah, 34.
34 compared to 41.
I guess when you look at it, my biggest hangup is the 15 days at the first year, but if you look at it as trying to attract people, that is a, that is a good benefit.
That's,
I'm okay with the higher number low. I think it's good to attract people. You're seeing places change to add more time early. It's hard to start a new job and then say right away, you got to work for a year to get any time or 2 or more. The high end number, that's a big number. Just by the 2, 4, 6, 7, or 8, we found it'd be the highest number of anybody at 10 years that I could find as a reference point.
so you're saying that we adjust that to more than 15 years?
I'm
Or-
just making
no,
a
I'm just-
statement that.
No,
what I
no,
found, yeah.
I'm just trying to, so are you, if you would adjust it,
I don't know.
I'm not sure how you would adjust it. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just at a benchmark at 10. I mean, if you take total at 25, other places have more. So it just depends on what you're
What
gonna
your
gauge
scale
to.
is, yeah.
Because none of them are the same. One's at 7 years, one's at 9. State of Nebraska, after 10 years, gives you 1 day for every year. I mean, they're all over the board.
It says they do all federal holidays and they also do Friday after Thanksgiving as a paid holiday.
So he's probably closer to
And half a
38 or
day,
9.
half a day New Year's Eve and a half day Christmas Eve.
I'm sorry, John, you said that they do
They do
all,
all federal holidays, half a day New Year's Eve, half day Christmas Eve, and the day after Thanksgiving.
so it's not 7 holidays?
So that's
it's
13,
11.
All federal.
13
And
holidays.
then those.
Well, you said 7 earlier. That's what I'm trying to,
I never.
We didn't have that
You
information.
didn't have that
11.
information until now.
okay, so it's 11, not
So
so.
it's 11.
He
plus
just,
the 2
he
each.
guessed it was 7.
I guess.
Yeah.
He said at least 7, probably, or whatever.
So it turns out that it's whatever, the federal holidays, half a day New Year's Eve, half day Christmas Eve, and the day after Thanksgiving.
So the federal +2.
Plus.
Plus 2, yes, correct.
days.
And we're not doing the +2. We would allow them to take it off though, because they can use their PTO time.
Otherwise, 3 weeks is 15 and 12. So, it's comparable with that. That's what, does it work? It seems
What if we add a tier?
That's why I was.
What if we add a tier and adjust the days? Like say we start at 10 days on up to 1 year. 1 to 3 years is 15 days. 3 to 10 years is 20 days. More than 10 years is 25, but more than 15 is 30 or something to that effect. How about if we put that top one at 15 or pick a number? Does that excite anybody?
That's what according to what I'm doing here, that's kind of what I
Because I
was,
want to give John incentive to stay more than 10.
that's what I got circled here. 10, 15, 20, 25, and then 30 is the top tier.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
What do you guys think about that? We add one more tier that says whatever, more than 15. And that's the 30. We start at 10 and we go to 30 in five steps.
Can you talk through the tiers quick, just to make sure I'm,
So let's say all we're gonna do, look at this sheet. All we're gonna do is add more than 15 and we start at 10 and go up 5 every increment.
okay, gotcha.
10 days in the first year, 15 days in 1 to 3, 20 days in 3 to 10, 25 at 10, and 30 at, let's say 15.
Pulling a Mark Sundberg, just being the devil's advocate.
Yeah, well, that's,
Why not reward people early to keep them to stay longer for the longer?
I think 10 days isn't really a reward after 1 year. You're
Plus-
still getting 15 days after 12 months.
Yeah.
You're getting 15 days after 12 months.
5 extra vacation or holidays.
But there's not, yeah, I mean, but there is no separate sick and PTO anymore.
No,
So I mean, that's truly if they're sick, then that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
Whereas many of these other plans have sick days too. So that's why I'm just trying to keep that in perspective.
I'm
And
throwing,
I understand that we're having a lot of federal days too. So that's all.
I was just trying to throw something out there to see.
Yeah.
What
See
is,
what's
what is, where people are stuck at.
I'm not stuck. I'm good with this. I'll say that right now. So. My thinking is reward them early, then they'll stay longer. Your thinking is we got to keep holding the carrot out further to keep them to come try to get the carrot. I'm just saying, give them the carrot, show them that you care right away, and then they'll stay longer. And I mean, that's not that it's just
trying to
two
offer
different
something
ways.
different
Yeah,
here in
no,
case
no.
we're stuck on this one.
But compared to where we're at, what we're talking about, still a pretty good jump up.
No, I'm not saying it's horrible.
And
I'm
days off.
You are rewarding people for staying 10 years, but you're not rewarding the people from the 1 to 3 years anymore. You're taking stuff away from them, actually.
No, right now we're at 5.
Actually, no, you're taking it
10.
away because you got 15 sick days you could accrue in that time.
Five,
You're right.
It's a vacation, then you're taking days away from them
Yeah.
You accrue it 5 days per year.
per year. So say.
So,
year 3
so at year 1, it's the same. It's a net same.
You had 15 days and then you got 25 days and you backed them down to 15, is what I'm saying.
But in that first year, you're only going to get 5 sick days.
I know, but I think you're making it hard on people that aren't here for over that 10 years then, is what I'm saying. Not that I'm trying to talk you out of the 10-year thing at all, but I'm just saying that you're making it hard on your new employees. Just, there's really no incentive.
There is no
You're
change.
taking it away from them. You're taking stuff away from them, in essence. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, because I see 5 days and that 1 to 2 years vacation and
You can
5
only
sick.
carry over, right now, in our thing, it says you can only accrue up to 15 days of vacation time. Or of sick time. So if you got 15 days and you happen to not use them days, and then you get your 2 weeks of vacation, which it is now from 1 to 3 years, then that's 25 days, and now you're gonna back them down to 15 days. You're taking 10 days away.
You're talking in that 1 to 3 years.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're taking 10 days away from someone. Of sick time,
Specifically.
or anyone that may start and be here from that 1 to 3 years.
Mhm.
That's what I see. I think this is a good standard to go by. If you think you need to back down the 10 years to 25 days, I have no problem with that. But I wouldn't screw the people that are gonna be here in the beginning to try and get to that 10 years.
My thinking is give them as much as they can possibly get within those first 10 years, and you might get them to stay for 15 or 20. Because if you give them those many, give them good benefits in the beginning, and they feel rewarded, then you don't have to worry about losing them later. That's all,
Yeah.
understanding that, that's all. I'm not saying your way is wrong. I was just.
No, I'm not, I don't have a way. I was just offering, I was just
throwing up an
offering
idea.
a different view to see if that's where we were stuck at.
And maybe it's one of them things, this is just something to throw out there. If you backed it down to the 25 years or 25 days after the 10 years, and then every year after that, you accrue another day. Up to
So
that
at,
30 days.
so at 15 years, you would have
There's a
30.
state that does that.
That's
So at
10 to
15 years, then
15.
you can get up to the 30 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you stayed for 30 years,
It stops at 16,
okay, that's what I was wondering if there was a stop.
16-year cap.
Okay.
And they cap out at 25.
So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and then that's where it would stop.
And it stops.
There's this.
That's the state.
Hmm.
Cause then that's a little bit every year. I better come back another, cause I can get that. But it's not hurting the people that are the younger ones.
So as it sits right now, if I'm reading this right, you can, after 5 years, you're always gonna have your 20 days, basically. Correct?
No matter what.
As we sit now.
As we sit now,
For
5 years or more, you get 15 vacation and 5 sick.
In 5 sick every year, so that's 20 days,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So you're talking, and as Nikki has it in here, it's 25.
So then what do we think about, why not add 1 day over 25 after 10 years per year? I kind of like that. Then you get to 15-year service, you got your 30 days in. So year 11, you get 1 extra, you get 26. Year 12, you get 27. 13 is 28, 14 is 29. Your 15th year, you're maxed out at 30 days. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I'd say we do that, but do we make another tier in between there too, or not? People are on the fence on something, or so leave it alone.
Well, I think I wasn't thinking about that when I was going down to 10 on that first year, taking away their sick days too, that's a net 0 on year 1.
Yeah,
That's a 0 change. So I don't know, I think if we leave it at 15 on the first year and then make that 11 to 15, the steps to get to 30.
Say that again, Paul. So
Let's
year
leave
one's
everything
15.
the same except for that last box. And instead of more than 10 years at 30, you have 1 year, 1 day extra for every year until you hit 30. So years 11
So
through
you hit 30
15,
years or 30 days?
30 days,
Okay.
30-day max at 15 years.
3 to 10 is gonna be 25. Yeah.
So after 3 years, you're at 25, then you hold 25 to 10 years. And then it's a day per year.
Yeah. Does that make it easier to swallow the 30 days? I could go either way. Is either one of those appeal to you, Gordon, or you still want to get more?
Yeah, there are just so many combinations of what's possible and comparing to other places. I definitely want to reward folks like John as they go from 10 to 15 years of service. And I also want to, attract employees, good employees. So I like bumping up the early years. I just don't know what the right numbers are at this point. It's 41, it is 41 days. Is that what we agree as a group is kind of what we'd like to shoot for, or is it some number higher or lower than that? As far as a max?
I think 41. It keeps getting thrown out as the high end. When you start comparing their sick days in Fremont, just
Well, those are off the charts
so yeah,
for what they can accrue anyway.
I mean, we're right there at their second highest tier.
And Nikki, by moving days from sick days to PTO, they become payable, they become compensation. Okay.
Well, I'd say we either vote on something or we table this till next month. One or the other.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 1220202 resolution of the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Arlington, Nebraska, considering an amendment to the employee handbook of the Village of Arlington, Nebraska, considering amendment to the, it says that twice. In order to adopt a new policy regarding paid time off and holidays as set forth in chapter 4, as originally presented, of up to 1 year, 15 days, 15 accrual, 1 year, but less than 3 years, 20 days per year PTO, 40 days accrual, 3 years, but less than 10 years, 25 days per year, 40 days accrual, and more than 10 years, 30 days per year, max accrual, 40 days. So as the chart was originally presented. Motion.
Quick comment, I think the table is actually wrong, because it says less than 10 years and more than 10 years. Doesn't account for 10 years,
3 years to 10 years.
but less than.
2 10 years, yes, that would make sense. Or you would reword it the other way, 10 years, but less, that would be right, 3 years. Up to
10. 3 years, but less than 10 years. This was probably written by Tim, wasn't it?
Did you catch that edit then? 3 years up to 10 years.
It's the same thing. I mean, up to less than 10 years, and then when you hit 10 years, it's,
It's more.
yeah.
It's by the day, I guess. Okay.
I mean, we can change it and say 10 years and over, whatever.
Looking for a second.
Would somebody want a second, a different? A different thing we
withdraw my
talked
motion.
about?
I will withdraw my motion.
Would anybody make a different motion? Or do we move on? You guys tell me.
I like everything up to the 3 years, up to 10 years, 25, and I like that 25 plus a year up to,
Up to 15.
yeah.
If he was to make that motion, could you write that down? Nikki? Do you understand that? Okay. Say it officially. Say, I'll make that motion.
I'll make that motion. Can you get that all, or should I read it again?
It's fine. You don't have to read it again.
Our accruals are good, right? Is everybody good with those or?
Yeah. Do we have a second on that motion?
Can we state it back?
I would say, let's.
I'll
get
make sure I get this right.
Okay, so the only thing different would be instead of more than 10 years, it says add 1 year of 1 day of PTO for every year of service after 10,
Up to
up to,
a total
30.
of 30 days per year.
so it would go from 25 to 26 the next year, to 27 the year after that,
So in here,
28 up to a max of
so in
30.
here is where you put the 26 through 30. So at year 11, year 26, year 12, year 13, year 28, 14, year 29, 15, year 30. Right? Is that what you're saying, Scott?
Correct.
Okay. So then more than 15 years, that's just 30
Capped at 30
with a
days.
max accrual of 40.
Second,
Nikki, we have a motion and a second to vote on resolution 122202021B as amended. And you're clear on the amendments?
That includes the federal holidays too, right?
Yes,
That was on here, yep.
and that's on there with all federal holidays and no floating.
With Juneteenth down there, so.
and including the amendment on 3 years but less or to 10,
Up to 10
Just
years.
clarifying that word.
3 years up to 10?
Yep.
Okay,
So that all of the days are staying.
3 years
up
through
to
10 years.
3 years to 10 years.
And then at year 11, you're getting 26, year 12, you get 27, year 13, you get 28.
14, 15.
There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Scott McCorney,
Aye.
Gordon McGee,
Nay, and I'll explain later. Why?
Jason Mason,
Aye.
Travis Kramer,
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. All right. New business, communications, committee reports, probably not much going on there other than
Communications.
Got any more people calling the office for stuff that's been cut up or destroyed? Mickey,
Sorry, what?
you had any more people calling in things that are cut up or destroyed?
No.
I was gonna say,
Calls have stopped.
okay.
Yes, Cox is saying they have got their cabinets and other materials needed to fire up the network. They're splicing the network. They hope to begin having addresses that are serviceable by the end of the year, essentially by the end of the. And then ABB, they're done, let's see, they are pulling fiber, should be done before the first of the year, pulling fiber. All their drops are completely done. They're also going to start splicing. So he'll have a more definitive timeline to us, but it's still shortly after the first of the year. They'll be cutting people over. Pretty close to the schedule that they've been shooting for.
John, do you have any issues with the piles of dirt that they've left for the vault installations? I mean, is that gonna affect you guys pushing snow or anything?
It shouldn't affect us pushing snow as long as they get them cleaned up.
It's just backing out of my parking spot.
I mean,
So I gave them the 2 addresses that we talked at dinner. Have either one of them been cleaned up? I think behind your place.
I'm gonna have to look. I haven't been paying attention.
No,
Okay.
I went out there and shoveled some of the dirt from the hole into the trench that we were all speed bumping through and that is, but there's still a pile there. If it's not a
I
concern.
haven't driven through all the alleys.
My biggest concern is it gonna affect our snow plows coming through our eyes and whatever with all these piles of dirt everywhere? If you haven't seen anything.
Now with that new truck, it won't be.
I'll need to go check it out. I don't think that truck's going in the alley.
So, but I would like to just.
We'll have a lot bigger alleys by the end of the winter.
One of the guys just kind of off the.
Or rock.
There might be some
No
garages
big deal,
missing.
just kind of funny. But. That's all we have on communications committee. Let's go to item B, discussion and possible.
Did we want to, oh, yep.
I'm sorry, did I
You're,
miss?
you're talking about communications B, right?
Communications A, we're done with the committee report.
Yep.
So let's go to communications A/B. Discussion and possible approval of developing a social media policy to add to employee handbook.
We don't have a policy. Yeah. Would like to talk with the board about maybe formulating some sort of standard policy for how we communicate and avoiding dialogue over social media with the community, making sure that we're maintaining the meetings as the source of communicating, whether other than maybe just postings, just public postings, just like the newspaper. A little concerning that we could get ourselves into a trick bag there somewhere where we've started dialogue back and forth. Now there's 3 or 4 people bouncing back and forth and discussing, and somehow did we talk ourselves into a virtual meeting, not following one source of maybe feedback, or if it should be, I don't have the answers. I'm just,
I think before we hire, if we were to hire a deputy clerk, I think we need to clarify that too, because it seems like the last major issue we had was with the deputy clerk posting something, and that was.
yeah, and I
I
think
think we
unfortunately,
need to
nothing
clear
bad.
as to who can post what and.
I think there are a lot of different issues with social media, so. Let's see what helps.
Yeah, maybe you can watch Alarm and see if there's anything out there on how they're handling it. Just want to make sure that we're not going to get ourselves in trouble somewhere.
So right now, our Facebook Messenger, if somebody sends us a message on there, they're gonna get an instant reply that says, this isn't monitored, contact the office,
Nice.
so.
All right. Streets Committee report, Jason and I talked today, we don't really have anything other than we're just doing the paperwork on finishing up with the asphalt repair. We've got all that stuff in there. I haven't heard of any complaints, any issues with the repairs. Everything looks pretty good to me, so.
I did get something back from concrete company on the 12th and Bell thing. I only have the one estimate, so I'm ready to get more.
That's what I thought, yeah.
But it's looking kind of promising that maybe we'll be able to make somebody happy.
John Newberry did call me last week and ask if they needed to be here for the pay approval and the certificate of substantial completion. I didn't think that anybody would have a problem with them. I don't see any questions. That's all just pretty much basic paperwork to get the warranty started and all that. So his recommendation was go ahead and pay everything as presented. I didn't really get into them with the quantities, but that was just, we missed the quantities on that. And I don't think we got what we paid for. We got extra repair, so. I would say that we need a motion for approval of final pay app number 2. With retainage and closeout.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of final pay application number 2 on the asphalt repair project. If there's no further questions, let's vote on that motion.
What's the final amount?
What's in that?
This is 7.
11,768.
Okay.
Yeah. It's on page
Yep, we found her.
18. Did we have a motion and a second?
Mhm.
If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Jason Lucy.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Gordon McGee.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item C, discussion and possible approval of certificate of substantial completion as of November 2nd, 2021. This establishes the start of the warranty period to expire in 1 year. John, that's a fair date, right? You'd have no problems with that date?
Yeah.
I'd say we just need a motion to approve the certificate of substantial completion as presented.
I'll make that motion. Approval of certificate of substantial completion as of 11/2/2021.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of the certificate of substantial completion on the 2021 asphalt street repairs project with the date of 11/2/21. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Gordon McGee.
Aye.
Jason Lucy.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Water sewer, we have just a report in here. If anybody's got any questions, we'll have to get with James. He was off today. I noticed in his report that he got a new locator.
And one thing on that SCADA equipment, if we are using the RPACT money for that, we have to get 2 more bids on it. There are 3 companies that do it, so he is contacting those other 2 companies.
Good. Maybe they'll help us. We didn't really have anything going on, Travis. We talked briefly, just kind of waiting on the weather to get some of these projects we've approved started, for relining pipes and getting people here for
Yeah.
that.
Did have a conversation with the planning commission, Jeremy and Mike Dwyer, asking them to look into adding tracers to all water lines. And seeing what that might mean for our future code. To help us trace where they're at underground so we can avoid hitting them in the future. Probably won't help us for 20 years or so, but maybe it'll help them.
Some of them will think.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not. You'd like to think they would.
They won't curse us as much.
Oh, geez. All right, item D, police, Washington County Sheriff's Report. Did anybody have any questions for Mike? Perfect timing, Mike. We didn't even have to backtrack for you.
When I got here as soon as I could. Calhoun approved their purchase finally tonight, so,
What did they purchase?
new patrol car.
Oh, okay.
It was their year next year.
Now, do they lease or do they buy outright?
They're gonna lease purchase,
Okay,
and they're gonna, keep the top, they're not gonna trade it in.
yeah, okay.
Did you all get the contract set? Make sure.
Didn't we approve that last?
Mm-hmm. I thought we approved it last time, didn't we? Yeah.
There's an email. I thought there was an email.
I thought it was just on the, don't we just do it last month? I thought we did.
Yeah, he's just talking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
Oh, the new look and activity type of thing? What are you talking, what did you show us, Nikki?
Contract historic report,
Okay,
the thing that she's got in here.
yes, yes.
Do you like the activity reports I sent out to you?
Yep.
I like the Monday, Friday ones. They're a little bit more brief than this contract activity report, but I guess if, somebody needs to know where everybody's at, then,
Yeah, and contract requires us to send this on one, so.
okay. Yeah, there's a lot in there.
I thought your tree lighting ceremony went really well.
Glad to have the sheriff's department be a part of that, so
In the FOP, we served a lot of hot chocolate.
I'm good. Scott and Jason, do you have anything?
I didn't have anything. Scott, did you?
Nope. Reviewing the emails all the time and good information.
I've learned that you don't say anything to the sheriff when it's. That's all I'm gonna say. Knock on wood. Everything seems to have been going well, so. Anything you have for us? Any concerns you see coming up or things we should be worried about?
Coming up, we'll probably start talking about a new car. Right now, it's taking about 6 months after you order to get the car.
Yeah,
And we've had ours ordered since at least July, and we still haven't received.
yeah. Now, when we buy a new car, what are you thinking we're looking at? The Tahoe again? What,
Probably what we're gonna transition to, we're trying out, and what Calhoun is, and that's a Ford Interceptor, the SUV.
Okay.
It's a little bigger room than the Durango. And that's with the Echo Boost,
mhm,
and the state bid price of that is $38,299. It's about, I think about 7,000 less than a Tahoe.
okay,
So just a pricing may not. Personally, I still like the Tahoe because of the room, especially in the back and stuff. But apartments we've talked to, we've had very good luck with these. We have some of the first year models of the Ford Intercept.
we're having,
I didn't care for them, they didn't hold up.
yeah,
Now they've been here several years and I think they've got everything worked out.
they've got the CO2 problem figured out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something I'd heard. CO2 in the cabin on the early ones. So you're thinking that we can probably delay that purchase until after August of next year, after our budget year,
Yes.
but we may want to order early. Okay, all right. All right, that sounds
Can I
good.
tell you what the state bid price was?
You said 38?
$38,299.
Okay,
And then the equipment was 67 on top of that. We'll reuse a lot of the equipment, but it's gonna need new council to go council. And then you have a decision to make if you want to trade your older one in, or if you want to utilize it here in the city. Build it.
Nick, can you add that to the post office or anything? Ever talk?
It'll get you there fast.
Does she get to keep the lights on it?
Well, that's one thing we're gonna
I
reuse.
was saying, I hope we reuse the lights. That's-
No other concerns or reports of, I don't know, we had the individual going through neighborhoods.
Yeah, can you tell us anything on that? We had a guy on camera that was on Facebook and it sounded like looked like he was
Going through
going through
garages or
somebody's
something.
garage and then getting scared away.
Yes, I don't know what to follow. I don't know where we're at with that.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I forgot all about it, but I know I've seen the post, I know detectives. We've put it out there.
Okay.
I don't know what they found out yet.
seems like I've been reading more about people getting stopped with burglary tools. Is it a certain time of year that's you get an uptick or?
I think it's on the activity report that we made a stop there
Yeah,
with burglary tools and drugs and stuff, so it's that time of year
yeah,
with the holidays and unfortunately it happens. I'm really surprised we haven't had more rural burglaries. That usually picks up around Christmas time.
yeah.
We have had some packages stolen, Amazon deliveries or whatever. Not a great deal though. We've been actually fairly well.
Good. Let's hope that keeps up. Yeah. All right, I don't have anything else for Sheriff Robinson. Nobody else does. Thank you for your time.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Have a good Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
And if I don't see you, happy New Year.
Yep.
You too. All right, anything going on in the Parks Committee?
The only thing I had for group was just that.
I'm sorry, I missed the library.
Oh,
No, I'm in the right spot. Parks Committee. Go ahead, Gordon. I'm sorry.
Just,
Auditorium,
just the bathroom renovation project that the Shimmer will be going out to bid. The documents will be ready January 5th, and then the bid opens January 26th. So hopefully we can get something started yet this winter.
I would just like to note that we had an opening. You were there for the dog
the
park.
dog park.
opening.
Yeah.
I just would like to just say that, go ahead, Nikki.
Oh, I just was gonna ask Gordon really quickly, do they have someone who will be contacting me with the stuff that needs to be published for the bid process, or will they send it to the paper?
I will send a note to them right now and ask them to coordinate with
Because
you.
it's gotta be published 2 weeks before.
2 weeks before.
Before the open.
Before the bid, not the opening,
Opening of the bid.
Okay.
before they even.
Before the bid goes out.
That's,
Bid goes
yeah.
out, it's been published 2 weeks prior.
So maybe they've already done.
I will send that to them right now and copy you.
I just want to put a shout out to the dog park committee for everything they've done. They've saved us a lot of work on that project. We've only, as a city, committed to, the mowing and the trash removal so far. So it's nice to be able to tell people when they come to complain about how much we're spending on that's all volunteer. Not quite as big as the ball fields that we've got, but another instance of getting volunteers together and doing good things for town. So,
Definitely.
all right, cemetery. Anything going there? No library meeting. Sorry, we missed that. So. Anything on the cemetery committee?
I guess we did meet with the vets, didn't we?
Yeah.
Let's see. I remember what we all talked about. Yeah, we're gonna let them know that we budgeted like $5,000 to help them out. They're kind of in their planning stages yet for
For the next phase?
for the next phase. And
They know we'll need receipts in order to.
yeah, for the rest of that memorial money too, as far as if they do some lighting or landscape, whatever they're gonna do, turn in a receipt and we'll get them paid up.
Cool.
We've been out, I haven't been out since the big storm, any tree damage or nothing.
No, minimal, some branches down.
Good.
I think we've got a lot of the old trees out of there by now, so
They're slowly
a
falling.
few, but yeah.
Slowly falling.
All right, item G, administrative. I see that there's some new construction on the Washington County permit report. Did that help cover?
That was one of them,
you were
yep.
Concerned about?
No, it was just, I didn't know which one that was, and
Yeah,
it's on there.
okay. Item B. Resolution 122020221A, appointment of village department heads and commissioners.
Is it in your packet?
I don't think it is.
Let me go print it. Sorry.
You're fine. The basement dug by Tyler. though. I don't remember what street was which.
Yep.
There's supposedly one on both sides of him. That's what he told me.
Yeah, there's one,
sides of Kingston now. That place is filling up down there.
Won't be long. Won't be long at all.
I'll wait till after the meeting, but don't let me forget about it.
Yeah.
John, anything you want to talk about? Where's John's? Should we hit John's way? Oh, there she is. Never mind.
Sorry.
Thank you.
We just need a motion to approve the resolution and read the first paragraph on a resolution. Is that what it is?
Resolutions are supposed to be the whole. thing.
Oh, golly.
Take a motion for resolution number 122-02-021A, be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Arlington, Washington County, Nebraska appoints the following persons for the village department categories and department commissioners as follows. Village Departments Depository Bank, Two Rivers Bank, Village Auditor Sharon Hammerlund, Village Attorney Tim Schultz, Village Clerk Treasurer Mickey Harry, Village Emergency Manager Daniel Douglas, Village Engineer JEO, Village Street Superintendent Stephen Parr, JEO, license number 859, Class A. Village Physician Dr. Monty Sullen, Village Prosecutor Adam R. Tripp, Village Newspaper Arlington Citizen, Village Street and Parks Commissioner John Rosenthal, Village Cemetery Sexton Trevor Ganuzzi. Department Commissioners, Water Sewer Travis Kramer, Paul Kraus, Cemetery Scott Corney, Gordon McGee. Streets Jason Weesey, Paul Kraus, Police Jason Weesey, Scott Corney. Parks Travis Kramer, Gordon McGee.
Do we need to have the floodplain manager on this?
No, the floodplain manager is assigned by our ordinance.
Got it.
Okay, so I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of resolution 2021A. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Scott McCormick.
Aye.
Gordon McGee,
Aye.
Jason Mason,
Aye.
Travis Green.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 12/20/21A, this 20th day of December, 2021. Discussion and possible approval of renewing Gateway Development Agreement. Travis, did you want to speak on this?
Yeah, so this last year, I've served on their board. As part of our membership, I got to go to the meetings and talk about the opportunities they've created. And they're working on a lot of neat projects in and around Washington County. It is challenging with Arlington, with our current, I'd say our current strategy. And so many of their opportunities are commercial/industrial. And at this time, I would make the recommendation that we discontinue our membership until such time we're better equipped with a strat plan that better aligns with maybe some of the things that the Gateway could provide. Open to questions.
Yeah, besides the housing study, probably don't benefit too much.
You know, and again, they have a lot of good things they're working on, but many of their opportunities are commercial. And then we look at where we're sitting right now in our commercial industrial world, and it doesn't leave a lot of opportunities to say. Maybe we could nudge the planning commission to help us with that if we see it going that direction. And that again goes back to our strat plan. Is there a strat plan to really support that kind of growth? And if not, then it's the wrong thing for us to be a part of.
Nikki, do you have anything to add?
I agree with Travis.
I feel like my discussion with Travis is that they come to us and they want 100 acres of land and we can't ever give them that. So it's not really working out in our favor at this point.
Yeah.
Or, you know, we need 20 acres or 30 acres and some connected to city water and sewer. So we can't ever, we just don't have that. So,
And there might be a time and a place when it makes more sense, but I think
Maybe
right
there
now
will
we
be,
could
yeah.
take that money and reinvest it into somehow commercial, maybe some incentives or something, but at this moment, I really struggle to try to find a direct connection value for what we pay and then getting it back in our community. Again, not saying that it's not a good thing, they're doing great things. Just that,
so if we don't want to renew our membership, then no motion needs to be taken. Okay. Did anybody else have any other comments, questions, concerns about that? If not, let's move on to item D. Is that in there?
56.
That wage is with the raise that you guys passed. But we had it before plus that.
Yeah. And I think the paid holidays is a good thing. That's kind of an incentive that you can offer somebody that's not full-time.
I think it's a good one. Because they don't have the opportunity to work that day.
So,
How do we define employees that would receive the other benefits? Full-time employees of a certain number of hours or?
I think we just designate the positions as full-time.
They have to work more than 30 hours. Oh, this is supposed to say part-time, I'm sorry.
So you'll make
On the
that
first
change,
line, yeah.
the part-time deputy clerk.
Unless you guys want to make it a full-time.
No. Part-time, it's 30 hours or less, I think. I have to look at that. Isn't it in the ordinance that way? I'm thinking it's in the
Yes,
ordinance that way.
if it's more than 30 hours,
Yeah.
then they're full-time and they get that.
Well, I think this is a good idea. I think this is keeping the office open when you're not here.
Mhm.
Maybe we can talk about expanding hours with this position someday. If, the question I keep asking myself is if we have a deputy clerk up there and we want to expand our hours, are we going to want to try and partition that office at all so you're not distracted? Is that going to become an issue, do you think, or
You mean just take that?
maybe just put a wall up somewhere? Is that something that we would want to consider?
Maybe.
At that point. That would come with changing the hours, or whatever, but. Did anybody else have any questions, concerns? So if you want, you can run the ad interview. We're gonna let Nikki have control over the hiring process. So if she finds one she's happy with, you can hire at your will, Nikki.
Okay.
Do we need any motion to approve that ad, or
Think so.
we've already approved the
Already
position,
approved
so,
that.
okay.
What's your goal to have the person in place by?
Probably by before the summer help comes for sure. Preferably March, but definitely before. Just because my workload goes up quite a bit.
Sure.
That starts in April pretty much, doesn't it? You're starting to get those.
Mhm. Yeah, and we need to start hiring the lifeguards.
Okay, item E, discussion and possible approval of sponsoring clerk for the leadership Washington County in 2022.
I put this in here because Cindy Slykeis, Steve, who's on our planning commission, his wife is the PR person for First State Bank. So I'm assuming she is going to be the PR person for this merger with Two Rivers. She emailed this to me and said, hey, maybe you should come do this with me. And she's going through this too. So she just asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said, I'll put it on the agenda and see what you guys think. I don't know, Fremont does this too, and Jake is in the Fremont one right now, and I know he gets a lot out of it. You just learn a lot more about the community, and you learn what all the resources are, and
They've stopped here before. Were you here the day they stopped? On one of their training missions?
Michael's on that one too. My son, it's good. I know a couple of people have graduated from it. The Fremont one.
I think it's a good.
I think it'd be okay to have you do both, to be honest, because then we would get those connections. Because I know we've, tried to get some of those by belonging to the chamber. But maybe it goes along with your thing too, about maybe we're not really built, but I think there are some things that we could potentially.
I think just the fact that you're gonna get out there and meet people you're talking to on the phone and make actual connections, I think is worth the money.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there would be benefit too.
What is the cost on it? Does it say it on that brochure?
That's the only thing that it's.
$800.
800 for us because we're a member. And what's the, so it's a 9-month program. So how often do you have to go?
Every fourth Thursday, so once a month. But there's a, right.
Does
at
it
the
start till
beginning,
March,
there's a-
right?
What's that?
Schedule start March?
There's a mandatory retreat.
Yeah, right at the beginning. I think it's 2 or 3 days.
March 3rd to the 4th.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2 days.
so there you go. That'd be good to maybe have your deputy hired by then,
Yes.
That'd be fantastic.
just to keep the door open while you're in it.
Yeah.
Need a motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to, what's it say on here? Allow, what's it got on? Here? Sorry. Approve the sponsoring of clerk for the leadership Washington County in 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of sponsoring our clerk for the leadership Washington County.
You want us to put the dollar amount on there or you get it just sponsoring?
In the amount of $800.
And the amount of $800, obviously we would take care of your mileage from here to there too, I would assume.
Unless you want to drive the cop car.
Yeah. Flip the lights on. So can we pull over?
You get to drive the dump truck.
Yeah. that'd be
The old one.
Just take the gator.
Oh, no. No, we're gonna have to get her a hotel in Canada. The
Wait, is there a hotel in Kansas?
Gator. Well, maybe there's a BRP. I don't know.
The street sweeper.
There you go, there you go.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Gordon McGee.
Aye.
Jason
Aye.
Weasley. Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item F, discussion and possible approval of classifying the iFleet or the Casey's fuel card invoices as immediate pay and authorizing online payments to meet the net 10 due date. Net 10, is that what that's supposed to?
Casey's is, yeah, it's net 10, so we almost have to do it this way.
I don't understand what net 10 means.
You have to
It's
pay
due 10
attendance.
days after you get the bill,
Oh, okay. All right.
so we can't.
That's how our other one used to be, or it is still.
Yeah.
But they only bill us once a month. They're gonna bill multiple times. So Shell doesn't always have gas now. So we've had to go to Casey's quite a bit to get fuel. So we did the Casey's fuel card to take care of that.
Is there any limit on the fuel? I'm guessing that's
$1,500.
Yeah, but that would be like each time, so it's not necessarily 1,500 a month. It's
Right.
1,500 every 10 days.
Every 10 days. Got it.
Oh, how many times they fill out.
Or twice a month, whatever it is, but. But if there's a snowstorm and they're running those vehicles for 2 or 3 days and they have to keep going, then I can just go online and pay it and then they can keep getting fuel. If Shell doesn't.
So we just need a motion to classify iFleet invoices as an immediate pay and authorizing online payments to meet their due date.
I'll make a motion to approve classifying iFleet, the Casey's fuel card invoices as immediate pay, authorizing online payments to meet the net 10 due date.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Gordon McGee.
Aye.
Jason
Aye.
Lacy, Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item G, discussion and possible approval of developing a citizen recognition program.
There's been so many really cool projects, downtown committee, parks committee, not parks, but the dog park. And I don't want to pinpoint certain projects, but what do you guys think of creating some sort of community award? Maybe a permanent plaque down here at the city building. Again, how we figured this out, but some sort of substantial contribution to the community. The keyword substantial. So every time somebody does something little, it's got to be significant with some benchmark of what that means. And basically more somewhere downtown or in our building here somewhere over the years. So you could, nominate somebody.
Presentation of a plaque they can hang up at their place.
Get something for them as well for their contribution and
Like a volunteer of the year award or something
or
like that.
something like that. I'm not saying it has to be on an annual basis. When it's time, give it to them and give them an award. Definitely want to get them on the paper as a thank you for their contribution. Really use it as a community thing to identify people who are contributing and doing something for the community and not only just their achievements, but letting them know we really appreciate their effort.
That would be,
I'm not saying we do one every year. I'm not saying it's a citizen of the year or anything like that. It's just when it happens, it happens. And we have it and anybody can nominate a candidate to, I'm gonna recommend Nikki. And then those candidates be vetted somehow with, I'm gonna say a couple of people on the board to which somebody's going to make the.
he's recommending you just to do the work, not to be nominated. Oh, I thought we were gonna give you the work.
You can make the nomination meeting. You wanna put that on?
I thought you were nominated.
Oh,
Yeah,
Just to do the work.
just to come up with some kind of application that somebody who nominates fills out why this, what this person's done and why they think they should be recognized and.
Annual presentation at the summer sizzle.
but you could do that.
And it could be one or more or however.
We can define.
You're
it.
saying whenever they do something, not necessarily an annual.
I think
just
we
whenever
just, whenever we decide to do it, if it's an ongoing committee and we're waiting for some sort of achievement,
And
again,
6 months goes by and you don't have anybody, you don't have anybody.
you don't. And if you have a project in mind, want to see it completed first, you can then wait. It's not like we have a December 31st deadline. We can just do it whenever. And just make sure they get recognition for it.
I like the idea of summer sizzle presentation or something.
You could do it as the nominations come in. I mean, someone nominates someone, the committee reviews it and decides if that qualifies or not.
Yeah, maybe it's their recommendation that subcommittee is the one that approved the nomination. I don't know, you can do however you want it. And then the formal recommendation of the board of that person getting the award. I imagine some sort of plaque where we'd have them engraved on it or added to it, and then one for them personally. I like it.
Sounds
It
good.
could be used and not for now, but I think of Mark Sundberg when he was on the board, he was awarded. And I imagine the award he was given as contribution to the community, kind of fitting that model, that could be something that could be done. So, or again, I don't want to put any names to it yet, but everybody can think of their own people who have done that.
I think it's a good idea. Maybe come up with an outline of how we do this and
I can,
make a board approval, what the committee looks like and. Yeah.
any ideas would be greatly appreciated.
Did anybody have anything, Nikki? Anything on your report? We need to go through.
118 people on our front desk.
Was there a meeting with the extension office?
Yes. So we did a virtual meeting. Kelsey and Ben from the Mineral Extension and me from MAPPA and talked about, we went over a survey that they want to do for the residents of town. And it's going to be something you can do on your mobile phone and click through your answers. If you say that you own a business or own property downtown, it's going to take you to a different survey. It'll give people an opportunity to sign up to be part of this committee, but there are questions like, I tried to get something to put in front of you guys tonight to look at, they didn't have it ready. But they're just things like, where do you get your information about what's happening in town? And what would you like to see in town? And, you know, where are you going now for these services? And how safe do you feel here? Just those kinds of questions to see what the focus should be. So it's kind of lengthy right now, so we're trying to get it pared down a little bit. But UNO, the extension office does this at no charge. So it's worth keeping.
That's a lot cheaper than JEO.
So I think we'll get some good information from it.
Or MAPPA. When I've had MAPPA do stuff, they charge us pretty good for it too, usually.
Elizabeth, don't put that in paper.
Governor briefing call regarding infrastructure bill. Was there anything new on the money that we need to worry about or?
No, I mean, it's just not going anywhere right now, so.
The FEMA meeting?
So yeah, I spoke with a lady at NEMA to try and get all these projects closed out because I have to do quarterly reports for as long as, and we're done with all the projects. So she sent me a list of all the documentation that she needs just to close these out, and then they'll come do an inspection and then we should be done. And this is for the flood stuff, so. Hopefully we're not far off from being done with that.
The flood stuff. So does that include the two properties down there?
Not the buyout. This is
Okay.
like the redo.
Fence.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Yes.
Fence, ball fields, all that stuff that was damaged.
So the guys went and took pictures of everything and I think Shelley had submitted quite a bit of the stuff, so we just have to figure out what's still missing. Get it in.
Calendar for 2022.
That is just like going through my next calendar year.
Gotcha.
Making sure that when all the payroll
Sure.
is due and.
Along with that, is the community room being rented pretty much or? I saw we had
It's actually getting rented more than the auditorium right now. Families, instead of having things at their house,
sure.
are doing it at the
Give
auditorium.
themselves a little more room or something, sure. I saw we had a carpet cleaning bill or something.
Yes.
Was there something spilled or something?
It
Or just looked bad?
gross. Yeah,
Gotcha.
and I haven't been in there since.
It said something on there about a spot he wasn't able to get out or something, or I don't know. what.
There were a lot of spots and he
Okay.
just said,
Uh,
most of them looked like stuff he'd be able to get out, but he said there were a couple he wasn't sure.
Gotcha.
could come out.
Well, I didn't know if we're to the point where we need to put in new carpet or,
Within the next couple of years, probably, but.
okay. Just something to think about for budget purposes.
I think we're gonna
Because I mean, we used it for the office for so long. I mean, we probably should be on the hook for putting in the new carpet and,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
What would fall under improvement funds for the auditorium? We've got money in there that we can.
Yeah, I know that, and I know we're gonna put a new fresh coat of paint on that, in that room. Is there some dings in the wall?
Sure, yeah.
So paint first and carpet later.
That's how you normally do it. They're just square, I mean, they're the carpet squares, so.
Oh, I couldn't remember what was.
So it's not like we gotta redo the whole floor.
No.
Okay,
Well, we do, but I mean, they come in squares. It's not like you're rolling
The
carpet.
ones that you could go get them in
Yeah.
yards or whatever.
Yeah, that commercial grade
The
ones.
walls
yeah.
shouldn't get wrecked putting them in.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Speaking of the auditorium, the icebreakers, didn't we budget that this year?
We did. I tried getting a hold of them. I couldn't get a hold of them. I'll try again
I'm just,
before it gets bad. I think that's a stop item, so it shouldn't take
oh, okay,
long to get it in, but
icebreakers.
thanks for bringing that up. Yes.
coming down off your breaks.
So we don't lose the gutters again.
Probably the wrong word, whatever it was.
They're ice binders.
Anything else for Nikki? John, before we get to item 8? We have a motion. We have a motion and a second for adjournment. If there's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Gordon McGee.
Aye.
Hi.
Scott.
Aye.
Aye. Mike off.
See ya. Have a good Christmas, John.
See you, John.
Is any gonna be there on?
I'll try to make it.
I might